Hi Cancer, welcome to your March 2023 Astro-Tarot scope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. So I promised new content and here is new content. With that said, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant. You want to watch your ascendant first because when I'm talking about the astrology, that is the energy that we're going to be looking at first and foremost. So for that reason, you want to make sure you're starting there and then checking out the others because they'll all be relevant just in different ways for you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So we are going to be starting with, let me put those there. We're going to be starting with the biggest transit of the month. So the first one that we need to talk about okay, and two of your cards have just jumped straight out, right? So the first transit that we're going to start with is Saturn on the 7th of March. Saturn is moving into the sign of Pisces, right? This is a big deal because it's a 2.5-year transit. And for you, Saturn is going to be moving into your 9th house, the house of spirituality, the house of how you connect to the cosmos on that deep spiritual level. It's also the house of higher education and learning. And it's also the house of legalities, right? So this may be a time where, especially if you've had some kind of legal matter going on, Saturn might actually come in there to help you wrap it up now, right? To see it through to completion or to end. If you're trying to get a visa, to emigrate or to move to like a different country, that might become a little bit harder over this next 2.5 years. So these are all things to watch out for. Remember, Saturn is structures, limitations, boundaries. It's where we have to put twice, 3 times more effort for maybe just the same kind of payout that we usually get. This could also be as well for some of you, if you're in higher education, this could actually be really good because it makes you work really hard, but it means that the results and the rewards could be there. So if you're going for a degree or a PhD or something of that nature, this could actually really help you. Yes, it will make you more disciplined and hardworking when it comes to your, your studies, etc. But it could actually be very good for you in that regard. It might be as well, remember its limitations, it holds things back. This might be a time where you stop traveling so much. If you've been here, there and everywhere, this next 2.5 years, you might be a bit more grounded than you'd expected or than you'd like, especially if you're one of those people that likes to do a lot of globe trotting. This next 2.5 years, it might not be possible. So for this, you've got the 4 of Pentacles. Let me just make sure I've got these the right way up. You've got the World card. Okay, that's interesting. And you've got the Empress, right? So one of the ways that this might show up for you, this transit is really trying to get you to look at not only your finances and your resources, look at that, right? The World card. This may see you getting really serious about becoming a global citizen in some way, shape or form. Maybe you're going for a second passport. Maybe you're going for citizenship. Maybe you're trying to, like I said, move to another country, but it's like you're having to work that much harder for it. This could be where you're getting a plan together, the 4 of Pentacles, to move to another country abroad, the World card, to a place that, for you is a place of profound beauty. Because you've got the Empress card here. She tends to represent places and spaces that are genuinely very beautiful or potentially rural, so this could see you really wanting to move, but it's like you're having to get really serious about it. Let's say, so I know if you're moving to, let's say Spain from the UK, you have to have something crazy like 15 grand in your bank account before they'll let you even start the process. So, if you don't have that money, that may be the thing that you now have to start putting in place in order for you to make this happen. All right. So this Saturn transit is potentially asking more from you. It could be as well, maybe you're going back to school and now you're having to plan or to get the finances together. Am I going to be able to fund this myself? Am I going to be able to get the student loan? Am I going to, lots of big questions coming up here. So the next big transit is Pluto on the 23rd of March is moving into the sign of Aquarius. It's only dipping its toes in. It's going to come in for about 3-ish months. This is giving you a universal heads up. You're getting a little glimpse or a little peek into what this might actually be bringing you for the next 20 years. And for you guys, this is coming into your 8th house. Pluto in the 8th, that is, apart from the 12th, it's about as deep as it gets, right? And so what this suggests to me is matters of power, personal power, how you really perceive power, how you see the powerful, where you feel like your power is or isn't being honored or taken away. All of these questions could come up for you over the next 3 months and potentially the next 20 years. Remember, Pluto isn't just about power struggles, though. It's also about deep transformation. It's about deep in your bones, in the marrow of your bones, and in the soul, in the depth of everything that you are. Pluto will rip it all up if it's not in its integrity, if it's not already strong, if it's not functioning the way that it does. Pluto will come in and deal the death blow and say, no, this doesn't work. It's not doing it's not doing things right. Look at what happened when Pluto came into Capricorn. Or how many secrets about the corporate world and the structures and the elites and all of that stuff. Look at how many things came out under that transit about the people at the top that are holding all the money and what they really do with it behind closed doors. Look at all of that. That's an idea of what it can do. But look at the transformation. Under that Pluto transit of Capricorn, we have the strongest time in history. I mean, yes, it took a pandemic as well. But we've got the strongest time in history for employees. For the first time, people can demand the kind of wages that they want. I want to work from home 2 days a week. Never in history, well, not in my lifetime at least, have we been able to have that much power. So it can be a really good thing as well. It just depends how it's going to show up, and it also depends on the structures or the integrity of the structures in your life. So when it comes into Aquarius, this is going to see you really start to think outside the box when it comes to power. Really start to think in terms of years and decades instead of just, days and weeks. It's going to see you start to get a lot more far-reaching. And, I can definitely attest to this. Pluto's not even in Aquarius yet. And I've already started making leaps and bounds in everything that I'm doing. And as many of you know, I'm an Aquarius, but I have a Cancer moon. So, trust me, I'm already feeling this one and it hasn't even happened yet. All right, for this, you have the 10 of Pentacles. Beautiful. With the 7 of Pentacles, okay, and the 9 of Cups. Now, this Pluto transit for you in the 8th house, remember the 8th house is other people's money. Money, resources, finances, how you pull those things in from the outside world, how you gain those things from a partner if you have one. Now, this is interesting for a few reasons, and one of them is when we talk about other people's money, we're talking about inheritance, taxes, loans, debts, mortgages. We're talking about all of those things. Pluto is also, and it gets a bad rap because it can be really intense, right? Let's just call a spade a spade. Your sex life could be getting a really powerful boost here. You might find that you really start to explore things like Tantra and, the power of really tapping into Kundalini rather than just kind of like, I go and I say a few words and I do my yoga class and stuff. Like, you get into the real nitty gritty of tapping into that where you're feeling it in your being. One way that this could show up. Now, Pluto is an attractive energy. It's a magnetic energy, and so therefore Pluto being in your 8th house, you have the ability to draw or pull to you the things that you desire. In the 8th house, that could be other people's money. This is also a deeply psychological space. Now, you see that's 7 of Pentacles. This suggests that you're going to be doing some very hard, very deep, very personal work. Over the next 3 months, it will be cracking it open, but over the next 20 years, you're going to be doing some really bone deep soul transformational work. Then you've got the 9 of Cups. The 8th house is healing. And Pluto coming into that space can heal you at such a deep, profound level that you might not even be able to find words. But I'm going to tell you straight up, 7 of Pentacles with the 9 of Cups, it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be quick. All right? The beauty of this is there is a wealth of riches, personal power, deep understanding and transformational energies, especially when it comes to things like your heritage, where you've come from, the people that you're attached to, the wounds that you may have collected through, you know, intimate connections and relationships. There are certain, I'm just going to call a spade, right? There are certain sexual connections and relationships that we have in our history that have been damaging to us. And this could really help you, could go a very long way to helping you find healing, the Nine of Cups, but it comes over time, right? Seven of Pentacles is a very, you need to be patient energy. Sorry, I spent a lot of time on that, but just, it's such a deep transit for you guys that I feel like I needed to. Okay, and then your third and final big transit, Mars, darling, is moving into your sign. Mars is moving into Cancer. It's only going to be there for like 6 weeks, all right? So if you're a Cancer ascendant especially, you would have really felt this. If you're a Cancer moon, actually, I think you would have really felt this. You got a jumping card there, so that's that first one out. Now, Mars moving into the first house. Remember, Mars is passion, excitation, energy, willpower, direction, and focus, right? It's also irritation, anxiety, anger, stress, irritation, you know? So you just want to be mindful that that energy may rear its head for you. You also want to be acutely aware that this could potentially, because Mars is a severing or removing energy. It's kind of like the scalpel or the sword. You can attack or you can defend, or if you're using a scalpel, you can be precise with things. This is going to help you hone in on what you actually want for yourself and where you feel like your energy should be directed. Mars coming through the ascendant is a lot of personal power. So, you know, it's interesting, isn't it, that Mars is coming into your first house just as Pluto comes into your 8th house. So I think in a lot of ways you could be really understanding your personal power at this time and how you either do or don't use it to best effect, or it could see you removing or releasing something that you feel like has hemmed your power in. So for this, you have the King of Pentacles with the Five of Swords and the Hierophant. So straight up, it looks like if you've got a Cancerian on your staff, that person is going to tell you, they're going to give you a piece of their mind. If you are a Cancerian with a boss or your own business, this month you are getting serious about something and you are not mincing your words at all, right? The King of Pentacles, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, male, but because you've got the Hierophant card here as well, that's probably a Taurian person, is getting a piece of your mind. Five of Swords, right there. Sorry, it's the Six of Swords. Six of Swords. Okay, so this actually changes the meaning. What this does suggest actually is you could ask for a promotion or a pay rise. You could go in and it's kind of like a demand that's kind of met. Maybe, you know, you go in and you say to your boss, listen, I've given you 5 years of my life. I've worked fucking hard for you. And you know what? If you don't promote me or give me a pay rise or give me both, I'm going to walk. And they're kind of like, whoa. That tends to be what happens with Cancerian energy. They're always so like warm and polite and nurturing and loving, and then you come off and they're just like, listen. And everyone's like, oh my God, where did that come from? It's always been there inside the crab, I assure you. This could be a month where you're using your pincers in that regard. And because it's coming into your first house, it's like this month you not only are able to put foot to butt, but you're able to get shit done. Whatever it is that you want or need, ask for it. If there is some kind of travel that comes up for you, because it's the Six of Swords, I would go. If they, you know, even if it's maybe not for the greatest of reasons, or you're called upon for something, or someone just randomly suggests, let's go on a trip. Go. You could get a lot out of it. So, for the different sectors of your life over the course of this month, for your actions and interactions with the world at large, this month you have, I'm going to pop these here so that I've got space, the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, right? Nice. And the Strength card. So a Leo woman, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius woman, but because she's right next to the Strength card, she's a Leo, right? A Leo woman, you can't see that, sorry. A Leo woman, I'm destroying my pretty little display. Sorry, it's just me being a dork. Right, look. A Leo woman is very likely to feature for or assist you in some way this month. There's some step that you want to take or make, and there's someone that's really helping you get ahead. Now, the Queen of Pentacles with the Queen of Wands, two queens. What is two queens? Two queens represent sincere friends, which is amazing, right? So a sincere friend, maybe this person isn't already a friend, or maybe they are. There's someone coming through for you, helping you in some way, shape or form get ahead this month. Now, what really speaks to me about this, because it's the Strength card, you are taking a risk this month. A calculated one, no doubt, right? You're not just jumping in and being crazy. Like, you're taking a calculated risk this month that really helps you get ahead, and you're being supported by a friend. It's like someone kind of sees what you're doing and they're like, you know what, you're going for it. How can I assist you here? How can I help you? For your work and studies, you've got the 10 of Cups, beautiful, with the 4 of Pentacles. So there's good money to be made this month, or good money coming in. And the 9 of Cups, I mean, wow. That promotion or advancement that you're wanting in the career, it absolutely shows up for you now. It requires self-belief. That's what Saturn in the 9th is coming in to really teach you. Saturn coming into that Pisces energy is basically saying to you, I need you to believe in yourself now so that you can start to see the results and the rewards from the hard work and effort that you've already put in. When it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I really like this. So I'm going to get into more detail in videos that are coming after this, guys. So for those of you that are like, well, you haven't mentioned those of us that are retired and da-da-da. It's not like it was before, all right? Everything's different. So stay with me. I promise you, everybody's going to get a little bit of Rafi. Okay. For those of you that are in studies or academia, or at least considering it, this I very much like, because this is you knuckling down, right? This is you really getting stuck into it, and you're able to do that because whatever you're studying, you're really enjoying. You really love it. Like, there's a part of you that's like, I feel like I'm not just learning here, some part of my soul is changing or adapting because of what I'm taking on board, which, you know, awesome. For your love and relations, you got the 2 of Swords. Okay, so potentially some challenges or oppositions coming up in relationships. You've got this with the Knight of Cups, and you've got this with the Page of Wands, right? So if you're partnered, I'm going to say, like, this month, maybe something that a partner suggests that you guys could do, you know, and you're kind of like, oh, why, you know, why would we do that? Be very, very careful about how you, because remember, you got Mars in your first house, so you're coming across as a little bit more this month, right? Be careful of how you decline something this month, because a significant other could kind of take it and be like, oh wow, you know, well, I tried to suggest this for us and you just completely shot me down. If it's not for you, you got to find better words this month rather than, no, why the hell would we do that? Yeah, for those of you that are single, there could be a lot of fun, and I mean fun, all right? If you're open and willing to just enjoy whatever it is on offer, it's not going to be substantial. It's fun, it's enjoyment, it's flirtatious, it's potentially sexy, it's potentially like, I can't stand you, kiss me. Right, like, hey, listen, don't knock it. At this point, I'll settle for anything. Jokes aside, this, you know, this could actually be that. So just keep that in mind, because it's like the fun and the enjoyment and the amorousness wants to come in, but there's like a zzz that's attached to it, and that zzz doesn't seem to work for the Cancerians. For your money and materials, you've got the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups has been quite active for money this month, which tells me that financially it might be an easier month for a lot of people. Then you've got this with the Star card. Wow, okay. And the 4 of Swords. So if you are planning, and I have to be careful here because I'm obviously not a financial advisor, right? I'm just reading the energy, so don't take my word as law. Don't, you know, put the house, the wife and the kids on the roulette table. But if you're prepared and willing to do some research into different cryptocurrencies or different stocks and shares, You could bag a real deal this month, but the caveat, there is a but. Whatever you're putting your money into will absolutely grow over the long term. All right, this is the caveat. If you're expecting, oh yeah, I put my money in and 7 days, like all of that shit that you see on fucking YouTube and Google, like I put in $500 and got 75 grand out, and it's like, really, you didn't know, did you? Like, don't buy into all the hype and spin. Do your research and your due diligence. But really, if you're investing in something for the future and you understand that you're doing this for the long term, the long gains, remember the star card, long term, right? 17 to 21 years kind of long term. Maybe it's not going to take that kind of long term, but what I'm saying is you're playing the long game. With the Four of Swords, slow and steady. There's nothing, it's not, if you're looking for that quick overnight, yes, I 10x'd my money, all of that shit, don't do it. Just don't, because you're going to be disappointed, all right? But if you can go in with this and say, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years even from now, this is going to be a nice little chunk, then yes, you've got it. Do your research, do your due diligence. The star card says you get lucky. So nice, really nice. I'm excited about that because obviously I'm a Cancer moon, so hey. All right, so now we're going to look at your weeks of the month, right? We're going to take a look at first week through fourth week. All right. Ooh, excuse me. So for your first week of the month, you've got the Devil card. Now, given everything that's already come up, the Devil card is basically saying to you, don't hold too firm to anything. You've got this with the Star card. The other thing with the Devil card, look out, it's not even, well, yeah, especially because it's now next to the Star. Think outside the box. This first week of the month, you might be given an opportunity to see things differently. And if you hold to the way that things have always been done, you might end up shooting yourself in the foot or locking yourself out of an opportunity. The first week requires flexibility, all right? It also requires you to be really solid on your self-knowledge. So if you know you've got certain biases, and we all do, don't ever let anyone trick you into, I don't give a fuck how much of an eco-warrior you are, what you do or don't eat, or I don't care about any of that stuff. Every single human being has biases. We have proclivities, we've got addictions and patterns and all the rest of it. If you don't have any of that stuff, you're clearly not human. You're not on the earth walk. You're not doing it right. Either that or you're a robot or a zombie. I don't know which. But being aware of your stuff so that it doesn't get ahead of you or shoot you in the foot or stop you from getting some of the things that you can, that you might want for the long term, Star card. Pay attention to that. Second week of the month, that Star card. This may very well be where the financial opportunities show up. So be diligent, see what's going on around that time. Again, do your research. Get kind of healthy, obsessed about knowing what you're putting your money into for the future. For the fourth week of the month, the Fool card, new things, new places, new people, new energies, new everything, darling. We've got Pluto and Mars moving signs in this 1 week. So that's going to be a dynamic shift. This is very likely to introduce a new social circle or potentially new friends. For some of you, this second or third week might be spontaneous travel that comes up. I also like this for potentially winning a competition for a holiday. And then you got the Tower card. I mean, we can't have it all, right? The fact that you've got this Tower right next to the Fool card, this is a month of two halves, right? The first half of the month, you might be like, yeah, I feel the changes, okay, it's happening, and then bang. The second half of the month is very different. It's very dynamic, it's very energetic, and it's very loud. Potentially it feels like it's not in your control, and the reason for that is because it isn't. As long as you can be okay with that and you can be honest with yourself about where you try to hold too tightly to control, you can actually get ahead. I will say we are probably going to see some kind of shake up on the wider world stage, and so I wonder if maybe you're doing certain investments here in the second week, but then in the last half of the month when things maybe take a bit of a tumble, it's very possible at that point you say, well, you know, look at this. All of these things that I wanted to invest in are suddenly like a third of the price. Hey, listen, that's the moment to buy in, right? Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. You have to decide that for yourself, but just be mindful of that. Now, on a more personal level, aside from finances, you know, because what could be more personal, the Tower card does suggest a disruption of some kind, okay? And with the cards that came up for you previously, I'm thinking about, I'm toying about with this idea of mixing this with the other cards that came up. But all of this it's a work in progress for me, and I'm just really having fun creating new stuff. So we'll see, but on a more personal level, do expect some kind of disruption here on the 4th of... on the 4th week of the month. All right, it's going to be dynamic for sure. Okay, so for your moons, I'm not going into great detail here with the moons, and the reason being is because you're getting your full moon and your new moon reports, right, where I go into a lot more detail. So for your, sorry, they're going everywhere. For your full moon, that's also on March the 7th in the sign of Virgo. For you, this is happening in your 3rd house, right? Your sort of daily environment, if you like. You got the Gate 22 and Grace. And so the message behind this card is basically to create for the sake of creating. And what did I just say, right? So I'm happy to see that, because it means that the full moon is going to highlight to you where you're communicating in the right way, or the work that you're creating is speaking for you. Yes. So I'm happy about that. And then for your new moon on March the 22nd, in the sign of Aries, you've got the Gate 19 and sensitivity. And that for you is happening in your career, right? So that 10th house new moon, this is a fresh start in how you're seen in the world. It's a fresh start, and you might feel kind of like, as you're starting to evolve or step out into this big beautiful butterfly that you're becoming, you might kind of feel like, oh, this is a little bit sensitive, but your sensitivity is your superpower. All right, like it really is, especially as a Cancerian, because that's what makes you so intuitive. It's what makes you so psychic. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments. Do you love it? Do you loathe it? What do you like about the new format? What do you hate about it? And more importantly, just know there is more new content on the way. There's new everything. So stick with me and you will see more. With that said, take care, and I'll see you soon.